Joining us right now is Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates, William Howell. He represents the 28th District, part of Stafford County, and the city of Fredericksburg, or at least part of the city. Speaker Howell, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So Governor McAuliffe ran against Ken Cuccinelli for governor, of course, and part of his big campaign there against Ken Cuccinelli was painting Cuccinelli with the Republicans in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. as the obstructionists, the ones who were willing to shut down the government. I remember this, a big part of his campaign. Ken Cuccinelli stands with Ted Cruz and those who would shut down the government. And now here we are in the Commonwealth facing a potential shutdown of the government, and it's over Terry McAuliffe not budging on his ill-advised expansion of Medicaid. Where is this going to end?
Well, it's hopefully going to end before June 30th with a budget. We're ready to do a budget. We've sent a completed budget over to the Senate. They're playing stall ball over there. They're sitting on it. Won't send it back. But our conferees and their conferees met before the session was over, and we're very close to coming up with a budget. That's our most important obligation. Have a good budget that we can live within, and the governor and the Democrats in the Senate are holding that budget hostage to their plans for Medicaid expansion.
And let's explain what this Medicaid expansion is. It is installing Obamacare on the state level in Virginia so that Virginia's health care system can be as screwed up as Maryland's has been when we've seen them install it on the state level, right?
You're exactly right. In fact, one of the components of the Senate plan, the Senate budget amendment, would include a health care exchange, which we didn't elect to go into in Virginia. But the Senate seems to think that now's a good time since Maryland and Oregon and so many other states have had such great experiences with
Yeah.
it.
All right, so, Mr. Speaker, we have seen a similar thing sort of played out writ large on the national stage with the national budget. And what happens here is that you both stare at each other until somebody blinks. So how strongly do you feel about your position? How likely are you to be the one who blinks?
Let me tell you, this is my 27th session in the House. I've been in 27 years, and this is by far the single most important issue that I've dealt with. This expanded Medicaid has the potential, or it will, destroy Virginia's fiscal integrity. It has the best case scenario. If we adopt it, the best case scenario is in 3 or 4 years it'll be costing us an additional $1 to $1.5 billion that we simply don't have. Worst case scenario, it could easily cost $2.5 billion a year. It's just unwarranted. The present Medicaid system in Virginia, Medicaid is for the indigent, the people that are aged, infirm, single moms, children, covers about 900,000 people in Virginia out of a population of a little over 8 million. We spend this year about $4.2 billion as our share of Medicaid. It's growing at 8% a year. Our revenues are growing at less than 4% a year. It's just the present system is unsustainable. And to add 400,000 new people to the system, which is what the governor and the Democrats are proposing, 400,000 new people on top of nearly 1 million, just makes absolutely no sense. So we're resolved. We're sticking to it.
All right.
Office,
So
68 of us, we're strong. We're united, and we realize this is not a good thing for.
All right. So hold on a minute, because you sound like a man who's pretty firm in his position. You sound like a man not willing to blink. Are you prepared to drive this thing right down to a government shutdown?
Well, we're not the drivers. Governor McAuliffe has said repeatedly that he's not going to sign a budget that does not have Medicaid expansion in it. We've proposed lots of times, let's decouple that Medicaid expansion language, take it out of the budget where it has no business being, and pass a budget, and then come back for a special session, and let's see the merits and the demerits.
So your argument is it's the governor that's driving this train toward a government shutdown, not you.
Oh, clearly.
But you're not budging.
No. We're right.
All right. Speaker Howell, let me ask you this. I mean, Governor McAuliffe, it's incumbent on him to use his bully pulpit to try to sell the people of Virginia on the desperate need for this Medicaid expansion. And, you know, the Senate is split 50-50. I've got to think that there are a couple of vulnerable Democrats there in the Senate who their constituents are not interested in Obamacare, the Virginia version of Obamacare. Has he made any headway in actually swaying public opinion to his side?
I don't believe so. That's a great question. When we did not have the budget and we were getting ready to adjourn in March, a group of us went to the governor and said, Governor, you have the right to extend the session for up to 30 days. Let's do it. Let's start meeting tomorrow and get a budget. He said, no, I want you all to go home for a couple of weeks and hear what the people have to say. Well, let me tell you, the people I'm talking to on the street do not like this potential incredible debt that we're talking about piling on top of Virginia taxpayers.
Well, all you need is one senator from the Democratic side, and you've got a vote there on both houses.
Actually, we need 4 because 3 Republicans have sided with the Democrats in the Senate.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Who would those Republicans be?
I can't remember their names right now.
Yeah,
all right.
They're senators.
I bet you can look it up.
All right. All right, so you need to. So where is this going to go now? And by the way, I just want to remind everyone listening that when the governor said, no, we won't extend the session, we're going to send everybody home, that also allowed the governor legally to set up a political action committee and start raising money, which, of course, is the only thing this governor has ever done successfully in his professional career. Just wanted to throw that in there, Speaker, so you didn't have to get your hands dirty. Where is this going to end up?
I think we're going to have a budget. It's going too late. You know, one of the real problems, Governor McAuliffe is used to Washington-style politics where you can have continuing resolutions and keep pushing the ball down the field. We can't do that in Virginia. Our fiscal year ends on June 30th, and right now the counties and the boards of supervisors, the city governments, are trying to write their budgets for next year, and they need to know how much money they can anticipate from the state government. And we can't tell them at this point because we don't have a budget. The same with the universities. They're setting their tuitions for the next calendar year, and they need to know how much money they're going to be getting from the legislature, and they can't plan. So it's important that we get a budget as soon as possible so the local governments and the universities and the public safety officials know what they have to deal with.
And your message to the governor today, I mean, that they listen. We know they're out there. We know they listen to because we're the powerhouse radio station that just blasts right into Northern Virginia. What would you say to the governor this morning?
Well, I would say what we've been saying since March, and that is take this offensive language, creating a whole new $2 billion entitlement out of the budget. We'll pass a clean budget, and we can do that in a week. And then when you want to call us back, Governor, we can come back for a special session and debate expanding Medicaid on the merits.
One last question, Speaker Howell, because you just talked about the tenuous place fiscally the state healthcare system is in right now. The governor's argument is, yes, you're right, and that's why we need to expand Medicaid, because we're going to get all these federal dollars. The Virginia taxpayers pay a whole bunch of money to Washington, D.C. Why leave that money on the table? We should get that federal money so we can help save the Virginia healthcare system.
Well, it's a false premise on a couple of points. One, it's not going to save the healthcare system. The hospitals that are having financial problems now are not having those financial problems because of not having expanded Medicaid. In fact, many of their problems come from the fact that the federal government keeps cutting their Medicare reimbursements. Secondly, the amount of money that the Virginia taxpayers pay overall to the federal government is about 60% of what we get back from the federal government. And so it's not like we're not getting our fair share in Virginia.
All right. William Howell, we'll have to leave it there. He's the Speaker of the House of Delegates there in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we will keep our eye on this. It's going to get heated.
Please come back with an update when you have something.
You call me anytime. I'll be there.
All right, sir. Thank you.